Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
This is Christine Brown, and while I have to listen to this podcast as my motherly duty, you have the choice not to. My sons sometimes say some naughty things when they're trying to be funny, but really, they're just being stupid. Do you still want to listen? Go right ahead. I am not your mother.
Welcome back to the Patriots Dynasty podcast. I am your host, Andy Brown. With me are the brothers Brown, fresh off of I think our experiment into other fan bases was a short-lived, from our Browns on Browns podcast earlier.
I think I stunk up the joint. Yeah?
No.
C-. I
was trying to think of
Very
a poop
naughty.
Yeah.
Joke. I was trying to think of a poop joke.
Yeah, so we didn't end up dropping the Browns off at the pool.
Shut my mouth better than that.
But I think going from watching all of these Cleveland Brown losses, even though that was just the highlights, the shift from that to the game we're talking about this week. Greg, you want to introduce us to what this game is?
Yeah, can we just play that the Clash song? I fought the law. And the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
I'll see if I can fit that in here in post.
That describes this game.
So which one was it?
The single greatest single defensive player game in Patriots history.
Okay.
Anybody want to argue that?
Willie
I'll come
McGinnis.
for your throat.
Willie McGinnis did set the league record in sacks in a playoff game once. Does that count?
That's pretty good. I couldn't think of any off the top of my head.
What year was that, Andy?
It'll be a couple of years after. I think like 05 or 06 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Against the Jags, whatever game that was. But yeah, I would say that. I mean, if this isn't number one, it's 1 and 1A. You know, this
Yeah, I
is
can't
2003 AFC conference game. Patriots versus the Colts. Peyton Manning coming to town in the snowish sleet.
It's more like it was slushing. Anybody who's from New England will understand that term. It's snow, but just barely. It's right on the edge of rain, and so it hits you and it melts immediately, and you just get soaking wet, even though it's snowing.
Soggy weather.
Yeah, from all the fans that you saw out there, just standing there, they were soaked.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't covered in snow, and it wasn't really accumulating. Like it was kind of like that had that like, when you get the slush on the sidewalk, it was like that on the field.
Yeah.
Perfect football weather.
That's what Virginia winter is. That's how it snows here.
Yeah, so another reason not to move to Virginia. Sounds great.
You're right. They were probably wishing for snow at that point in that stadium. They were like, I would rather have snow right now.
Yep. Yeah, all or nothing. That's what you need.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be so much hype going around this game.
Oh, going into this game, because
like this is like even if you're not a Patriots fan or a Colts fan, this is like an NFL fan's dream.
Yeah, it's the best
were-
offense versus the best defense in the league.
Playing about as well as those units can play too.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Colts, because I think that was the kind of the big storyline, is that coming into this game, the Colts were as hot as you can be for an offense.
So hot right now.
So hot right now. So because so I don't know if any of you have the stats for this, but I know one of them was that in the Colts' first 2 playoff games, they had not punted.
They hadn't punted once.
We'll get to that. That was the defining play of this game for me.
Yeah, we'll get there. But let's talk. What else was happening with these Colts coming into this game?
It was like 13.
Well, if we want to back up a step to put it in historical context of the Colts, right? They're pretty bad for a while until they drafted Peyton in
First overall,
1998.
right?
Yeah. First overall.
He's their savior. Like
Over for
Bledsoe was
Harbaugh.
supposed to be.
Remember that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's like coming into his own. This is his 5th season in the NFL. He puts up a lot of gaudy numbers, but they can't get over the hump of the playoffs. So he's 0-3 in the playoffs prior to getting to this season.
Which is good. Didn't they lose to like the Jets last year or something?
Made the playoffs 3 times.
Yeah, they got the doors blown off 41-0 by the Jets last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that they made 3 playoffs in 5 years, pretty good.
4 years, right? At that point, this is
So then this year rolls around. They go 12-4. He's a co-MVP. He's the NFL passing leader. He has like 4,200 yards on the season through the air, which in 2003 is ridiculous.
29 touchdowns and only 10 interceptions.
Yeah. They're averaging a shade under 30 points a game, the offense. They're second in points, third in yards in the NFL.
Yeah.
They get the divisional or the wild card because the other co-MVP that we just beat last week,
right,
Steve McNair. So then all they do in that is they shit stomp the Broncos 41-10 in Indianapolis. I got the drive chart in front of me. This is the Colts drive chart. Touchdown, 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 field goal, touchdown, field goal, fumble, downs. That's it.
Yeah, wasn't Peyton Manning, didn't he have like almost a perfect quarterback rating in that? It was one of the two. I think it was that.
Yeah. So Peyton Manning stats in that game, 22 of 26, 377 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. 158.3 rating.
Perfect rating. Yeah.
So those last 2 weren't even Manning, the fumble down. So every time Manning's in there.
Garbage time. Yeah.
Touchdown or field goal.
Touchdown.
They score touchdowns. Yeah.
Jesus. All right.
So then they go to the Chiefs, who had a great season as well.
Yeah, they were undefeated through like week 9 or something.
Yeah. Want to hear their drive chart from that game?
Yes, please.
Touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. End of half. Field goal, touchdown, touchdown, downs. So they're scoring touchdowns on like 80%. So that was a 38-35 or 38-31 in Kansas City.
Yeah, because that was a shootout. That's right. Because it was that was Priest Holmes's Chiefs too.
Correct.
Yeah,
and they were
the number one scoring offense.
Oh, you might be
so.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Manning's stat line: 22 of 30, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. 138.7
only
quarterback rating.
Yeah. So coming into this, he is just torching defenses. Yeah, leaving dead defenses in his wake.
Yeah, he's got 12 incompletions in 2 games and 8 touchdowns. So it's about as good as Manning gets.
Yeah, you can't really get any better
in the playoffs. Yeah. So
right.
So you got to think Colts fans are going, okay, this is the year we got over that playoff hump.
Mm-hmm.
Manning's MVP. We are unstoppable. We're a wagon right now. We're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Kansas City, that's a tough place to win. Arrowhead.
Mm-hmm. Right into Arrowhead, stomp them.
And so that kind of segues into one of the quotes that the commentators talked about. I think it was Bernie on the Bonnie on the sidelines talking about before the game. Peyton Manning himself was coming in with a lot of.
With the Colts trailing New England by 14, Peyton Manning was right about one thing and wrong about another. He was right when he called the Patriots, quote, a different animal. He said they're sound on both sides of the ball. We'll have to work for everything. He was wrong when he said, if we lose this, it won't be because they confuse me. 4 interceptions, Greg, speaks for itself.
First 4 interceptions of the postseason for him.
So if they lose this, it's not going to be because this Patriots defense confused them.
Yep.
Protection problems.
Which to me, as at the time, probably a bigger Peyton Manning hater than I am now. Wasn't a huge fan of him when he played, but he's growing on me now that he's retired. I would say that almost sounds a little bit like him throwing his kicker under the bus. It's like, well, if we lose, it's not going to be because of me, obviously. So it's almost like he was kind of building in some other excuses as to why this team might lose. Maybe defensively, they're going to give up too many points or whatever.
Yeah, which makes sense after the previous week. I mean, they gave up 31.
Yeah,
true.
38. He's like, all I've been doing is scoring touchdowns because their defense wasn't great.
That's true.
Did you see that stat about the punts too?
No.
about puntless games. They play.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think I took a picture of it.
Yeah.
It was, where do I have it? NFL postseason all-time games with 0 punts. Colts this year, 2 games. All other teams, 3 games out of 391 possible games.
That's
1 in 100.
pretty crazy.
Yeah. And so you were thinking this was, like, I think a lot of people going into this would think it was going to be a shootout because that's what it was in Indianapolis when the Patriots went there earlier in the season, right?
Right, which was like an all-time regular season game. So that's adding to the hype this too of like, okay, they went to Indy. There was a last-minute play to win the game after a furious like 21-point comeback. So like throw that in the mix of getting hype about this.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Networks or CBS is like loving this matchup. This is a good matchup.
Yeah, it's a wet dream. You got Brady, who's like the winning quarterback that's young, that like, he could be pretty good. Manning, who's like the highly touted, like a first-round pick and a 7th-round pick going at it. They're both like really good earlier in their careers. Like that dynamic's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Belichick Manning dynamic is there.
Yeah, they've been going at it for years at this point, since 2000. And Belichick has often, not always, but often got Manning's number.
Yep.
Like Manning doesn't always have great games against him.
So I think Manning was like 1-6 against Belichick to this point in his career.
Something like
5.
that. Yeah.
This might have been the 6th one.
I think so.
Yeah, because that was an early narrative, right? Of it wasn't so much Belichick versus Manning or Brady Manning. It was Belichick Manning because Belichick was the defensive mastermind. And can he come up with something to confuse Peyton?
And Peyton's over here being like, nah, he ain't gonna confuse me.
Yeah.
If we lose, it ain't because I was confused.
So those 4 INTs said, buddy.
Yeah. And then I would say, Peyton Manning face is a very recognizable meme. I would have to say this game was probably its apex.
Peak
all-time.
Peak all-time Manning face. Just
from the get-go.
His first interception he threw, they cut to him and he did the triple shrug.
There's no less than 15 Manning faces in this game.
At least.
Like some of those ones you see in memes now are in this game, and like it's just full of great Manning face.
Mm-hmm. He was grouchy. He was.
He had reason to be. Because by the end of it, he looked war-torn.
So pissed.
He fought the law. And the law won. Okay.
It really did. All right. So do we want to kind of get into this game then?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I mean, we won't go drive by drive, but I think there's a lot of like.
I had a
Let's go quarter by quarter.
All right. You got a thought, Steve?
Yeah, and it shows up pretty early in this game too. Is the law? Remember we had that poster of the law, Malloy, and the lawyer. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first year they don't have lawyer, and they swapped him in for Rodney Harrison.
Yes.
And he balled out in this game.
He did.
He had an awesome game. I think
that is correct.
Forced fumble in the first quarter.
Well, no, he had the interception in the end. So the game starts. The Patriots go out and like his first drive, I think it's like midfield or something, and they go for it on 4th and 1. It was like at the Colts 40, and it's like a Brady sneak as it always is. But like that almost set the tone of like, this is going to be one of those games where we're just going to like, we're not playing it safe. We're going to pull out all the stops. And it started literally the first drive going for it on 4th and 1.
It was the first series.
Yeah. And then it ends with Brady throwing one of my favorite of his touchdowns, I think. It's one of those ones that I always forget about, but when I watch it, I'm like, oh, that is one of the greatest play calls and like execution of it as well, where it was Brady, he had Givens out on the wing and he faked the wide receiver screen to him. So the defensive back comes up and then Givens just runs past him. He just like lobs it to him in the end zone wide open.
Perfect play call.
Such a great play call.
They're on like the 7, right? That's a Patriots run that play all the time of just get it to wide receiver on, inside the 5-yard line, see if he can make a miss, and he's got a touchdown if he can.
Right.
And the dude bit on it so hard because they pump it, and Givens was so open.
It was such a good play. I don't think I've ever seen them really run that again that I can remember.
That's true.
But like that's your first like touchdown play call is that, which is great.
Gibbons had 4 catches on that drive.
Yeah, he didn't really do much else after that, but
All good.
It's all right. And then of course, like the Colts, as they would do kind of almost all game, just kind of move straight down the field with relative ease. I don't know about ease. I mean, I think the Patriots made them work for it, but they were still moving the ball successfully. Get down to inside the New England 5-yard line. And then on third down, Manning gets confused for the first time of the day and throws an interception to Rodney Harrison. And I thought if you looked at the play, I think it was thrown to Tony Pollard, the tight end.
He was.
Marcus Pollard, sorry, yeah. And he looked wide open at the beginning, which he may have been, but then all of a sudden, Rodney Harrison kind of the whole defense shifts as the play is happening and rotates almost. All of a sudden, Rodney's he's just there.
It was a bad throw.
It was not a good throw.
Late read.
He's thrown off his back foot.
He's backpedaling as he's throwing it.
He missed the read and then tried to still do it anyways. And Rodney's instincts took over, peeled off his guy, and victimized him in the end zone.
Yeah. And
then we saw our first Peyton Manning face where he goes, he's like, oh, he does his little shrug thing. He's
that was the triple shrug.
That
was
my hell he's looking at. What?
Yeah.
Who
you trying to blame there? That was all on you, bud. Pollard was wide open from the get-go, and you just missed the read until you found it too late.
Yeah, anyone interested, go to 19 minutes in the YouTube video. I wrote them down.
Dude, I started writing down Manning faces, and then I had to start abbreviating MF, which I thought was funny because motherfucker. And then I just gave up because there was so many. I was like, I can't keep doing this. It's just
I wouldn't even write them down. Just watch the whole thing because you'll get a sprinkling of them in there.
You could legit go to the YouTube, which is 2 hours long, and just click randomly in the bar, and you'll see one within about a minute and a half.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You'll get there real quick. Won't take you long. Yeah. Just watch random plays of the Colts on offense, and you'll get there. So that was basically the first quarter. Both those drives took quite a lot of time. So Patriots up 7-0 first quarter, and I remember.
Before we move on,
huh?
He had a stat right before he threw the interception on third down in the red zone about how in the playoffs he'd been 13 for 13 on third down.
And also there was another one where they were another stat: 10 touchdowns in the last 13 red zone drives. The Colts offense.
Love that.
Whoops. And also on the Colts opened their offensive play. When they got the ball back, their first offensive play was a false start, and it was the first penalty on offense the whole postseason for them. 117 plays. That was the first one they did, and it was literally the first play of the game for them. So that was nice. All right, so first quarter over 7-0, and so I was thinking about this today, where some of these games, I remember a lot about them. Or for a lot of Boston sports moments, you remember where you were and that sort of thing. In this game, I didn't remember where I was when I watched it or anything like that, but I remembered the feeling that I had when I watched it originally when I was watching it again this week.
What do you mean?
Because
arousal?
Yes,
it was arousal for me.
It was that, but also fear in there too. Of
fear.
Are we going to be able to keep this up? Because and once we get in the second quarter, this is where it kind of hit. This whole second quarter and the way it all played out. Wait, we could actually do this if we keep doing this in the second half. We can pull this off without Brady throwing any more touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, they dominated, but they weren't dominating on the scoreboard. I think
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it's because their red zone offense was atrocious. Vinatieri goes 5 for 5 on field goals. We were just shitting on the double overtime game last week where they went 5 for 5 for Carolina.
But I could have kicked those. You know what I'm saying? They're all from within the 10.
Right.
All year they'd had shit red zone offense, and it's if they had just scored a couple touchdowns there, this game's over, and they're just kind of hanging in. And I get that fear too, Andy. I remember that.
Yeah. But they were doing just enough on every drive. It felt like, I think they went out They went 3 and out twice, and they were both in the fourth quarter. So they were kind of still like moving the ball well. The Patriots were.
Yeah.
A lot of like 5 wide in the snow, as you do. But
a lot of Troy Brown in clutch spots.
Yeah, a lot of Troy Brown when you absolutely needed him. I think he convert another 4th down.
He did. He converted 4th in like a 3rd and 10. He was,
and also on the first drive of the second quarter, and the Patriots driving again. He had like 2 huge catches, and then Brady almost throws an interception, but Troy Brown knocks it out of the defender's hand, so they were able to kick a field goal on that first drive.
The red zone, you're right.
Yeah, and so that was like a huge turning point too. Because I mean, it's 3 points, but it kind of all like mattered at the end. So yeah, Pats are up 10-0 at this point.
Right. So after the turnover, they march down, they kick a field goal. It's 10-0 Pats.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning.
Start of the second quarter, so like Peyton's getting a little frisky. He's like, "Oh, we got to do something here."
Got a 60-yard kickoff return. No,
first offensive play.
He tries to. Yeah, he
tries to stick one on the corner out, and Ty Law, who's over there, he jumps off his guy. And you guys will remember this play where he starts floating back, and he just does the one-hand scoop catch as he's sliding down. Probably the best of his 3 picks of the game, I would say.
Whenever I hear the name Troy Brown, Ty Law, that's the play I think of. That's the first play that pops into my mind.
This might be his best interception ever.
Yeah, I would agree.
His most athletic. I mean, that was a one-handed
stab. Yeah.
Perfect catch.
Amazing catch.
Well, it was just indicative of how Ty Law plays. He's proactive rather than reactive, right? I think you got a lot of cornerbacks in the league that they're decent players, but they're always just trying to not get beat.
Yeah.
Where Ty Law would try and beat you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, he'd be like eyeing quarterbacks. He'd be trying to jump routes. He'd be doing all this stuff that's like, I don't know. He just felt like a competitor that was trying to make plays every time he was out there.
I agree.
Revis does the same thing.
Yep.
And Gilmore does the same thing. Those 2 guys also were.
Who?
Gilmore.
They'll like bait quarterbacks into throws and like read them and set them up, and just like they are trying to beat you. And
I agree with that. And it almost feels like they know not just what their responsibility is on the field, but like what the defenders around them need to be doing too. So like on that play, especially like that, like you said, that wasn't the guy Ty Law was covering, but he dropped off of that because he saw Peyton Manning's going deep, and the commentators actually talking about like how many meetings Ty Law's like, I don't need to be in all these meetings. We have meetings all the goddamn time. And they're like, well, I mean, this is what you get from those meetings, is that you recognize that if this is the route combination,
I don't know. I'd be really interested to see what Ty Law says about that.
Like, well, do you think he's like, I bet they're feeling it a little bit and they're going to try and take a deeper shot than the safer underneath stuff?
That's like, what I'm wondering. Yeah.
Right.
Or just like reading a quarterback's eyes.
Yeah.
And like body language. You know, I feel like he was like an instinct player, but then you'd think he'd get beat more often trying to do stupid shit. I mean, but I'd love to hear him talk like X's and O's to see how much of it is like game prep shit versus how much he's just like, he's going with the flow of the game and just reacting to what he sees.
Yeah. All right, hang on. I'm writing it down right now. I'm going to go see if we can get Ty Law on the podcast just for you.
Oh, okay.
Dude, Ty Law also rules. Just as a person, he's the best.
I'm not gonna lie. I tried to find some of his vodka. I tried really hard to get some of his vodka for this, but you can't get it anywhere.
Dude, I'm recording from a trampoline right now in honor of Ty Law's trampoline parks
that he sold and is no longer a part of. But yes,
I got some notes on Ty Law though. We'll save that for the end.
Oh yeah, I think we should.
About his like personal life.
I think he's going to come up a bit more.
His career in general.
Okay.
All right. So the Patriots don't do much with that. Kick another field goal.
Hit it down to the 7, kick a field goal. Classic. Just like we did last drive.
And I think that on some of these field goals, the last couple, I think it was, they actually had some good play calls, but Christian Fourier dropped 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he did.
Both hit him like in both hands, catches that he's made in other games. And on some like good play calls too. But I think if he had caught either one of those, this game looks very different. This game isn't nearly as close as it was at the end. Patriots kind of walk away in a laugher almost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're adding 8 points to their lead at halftime.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And so you're up more than 2 touchdowns. And and I think things might look a little different.
How did they get to that big 15-0 halftime lead?
Well, yeah, because right now it's 13-0, which means if my math is correct, we're 2 points away.
Safety in this game?
I guess I don't remember safety. Steve, do you remember what this
is? I mean, obviously the Ty Law picks. Those are the highlights you've all seen, but I remember this very clearly, and it like embodied the buildup and all that Greg was talking about earlier. They showed that stat of how they had him punted, and like nobody else has never punted in the playoffs.
And apparently, like all the Indianapolis media was giving the punter a whole bunch of shit about how he's like not earning his paycheck.
The commentators are talking about like, oh, it's a lot of money for just holding.
Yeah,
just being a holder. Why you get paid so much?
Also, I just want to point out that the fact that the punter's name is Hunter Smith and nobody called him Hunter the punter.
I was just thinking that in my head.
Such a miss. I mean, for like a Phil Simms type of guy too, who's like we talked about last week about how fucking work appropriate joke shit he does.
That's
like you're gonna miss the Hunter the punter joke.
Yeah, and like they're saying his whole name every time, like it's Troy Brown. But
Hunter Smith, as if there's another Hunter on the team.
Yeah,
it's a very millennial name too, Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He wears skinny jeans.
Oh,
for sure. Yeah. Loves dancing on TikTok.
If our last name was Green instead of Brown, I'd name my firstborn Hunter.
Hunter Green.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because that's all he could wear then.
You can name him Nut.
Nut Brown?
Yeah. Hazel. I don't know.
No, it doesn't work.
Dark? Light?
Cappuccino?
Yeah, light, dark, I don't know.
You're a coffee nerd. You'll think of something.
I'll come up with something.
Mocha.
Yeah. Feces.
Hot brown. That hot brown. First name hot, middle name hot, last name brown.
Speaking of hot garbage, the nap on this to Hunter the punter was hot garbage.
Yeah. And also speaking of perfect names for that punt in general, the long snapper's name, Justin Snow. Justin Snow, does he snap the ball 2 feet over the punter's head?
And it looked
40
like
yards
really
backwards.
Like Hunter the punter was not ready for it. He looked like he was super surprised. It goes over his head.
The best part was Hunter the punter is wearing 2 receiving gloves. Still can't catch the ball.
He barely gets a hand on it.
Yeah, he gets like half a finger on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it goes over his head and he's run after it.
Yeah, so he's running after it. And I think his kick on that, because basically what he does is he takes it from like
great play
from the 10-yard line, just belts it out the back of the end zone, just kicks
very heads up play. It was a hilarious looking. It's probably really hard to kick a bouncing football on like a frozen grass that's all
in the snow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hits it first time, top corner, right, Greg?
Dude, I'd say he was the best player in the Colts in the first half.
Yeah, you might be right.
Dude, he saved them 5 points.
Yeah.
And they got a penalty out of it too, which I thought was hilarious that they gave him a penalty.
Did you see they zoomed in on Hunter too, and he was just like, meh.
Yeah. I did the best I could in this situation.
Dude, I'm a Hunter stan. That guy rules.
Yeah.
Doesn't punt for 2 games, comes in, gets snapped over his head, and then just boots it out the back. It's an electric playoffs.
Yeah.
That was
amazing.
That was like his only appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had another good punt later, I think.
I think he punted once more. But so he had like 2 snaps the entire playoffs. One went over his head and kicked it 15 rows deep.
And one he kicks out 15 and one he kicks 50 yards.
Yeah. And he'd be like, yeah, fucking suck it. Making my money now, aren't I, you bitch?
Right,
It saved you 5 points in a playoff game.
You know who maybe you should have been bitching at?
Yeah.
Fucking Justin Snow.
Justin over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never
Or
trust
like
Justin.
Stucks in snow.
Oh shit.
Ooh. That whole they're so fucking good they never even punt, and then like okay, then now I have to punt.
Now you know why.
That's not gonna last forever, and like special teams breakdown, even though it's not a third of the game, right, Greg?
That's right.
Third of the game. That's right. And so I mean, I feel like this is kind of similar again to the first Colts game the Pats played in Indianapolis, where watching this, it felt like there was a lot of opportunity for the Patriots to like just step on the throat of the Colts and just like put this game away. Because you just got a safety on what should have been a punt. So you get 2 points and they're kicking the ball right back to you. And I think the kickoff return was actually pretty good. So you got the ball like almost midfield-ish, I think.
Yeah.
Your own 40, something like that. And 3 plays in, Bethel Johnson fumbles the ball. Colts recover. I'm like, well, fuck, like that. We could have just like put the game away right there. Get any sort of points out of that. And now it's 3 touchdowns going on a half. But instead, you've given Indianapolis the ball back with 2 minutes around midfield. And this is a team that we've seen can score quickly, like real quick. And
they move it.
Yeah. And so they drive inside New England 20. And of course, they score a touchdown and go into the. Oh, wait. Nope. No, Rodney pops his head up again.
Yeah, he had a monster game.
Yeah, and
he loved this game.
This is some Harrison on Harrison crime. Ooh, Marvin Harrison catches the ball over the middle, and Rodney decleats him. Like I think if Marvin Harrison had any fillings, they were loosened by this hit.
No, it wasn't like I don't know if it was like that. He got him like kind of low, but he got him right on the ball. Like Harrison was like bracing for the hit. Rodney went even lower when he had the ball and just kind of wasn't like a stop.
Hit him square.
You were glancing, but his hit was square on the ball.
Hit him square. Ball pops out. Our boy Tyrone Poole, who they mentioned used to play for the Colts, which I did not remember.
And the Panthers.
I remember him playing for the Panthers for a while. I didn't know he played for the Colts. So found himself on the right side of the coin on this game, including that fumble recovery. So the Patriots kind of escape a bit of like what could have been some like a swing in points, a swing in momentum. And they realize that and decide to run the clock, 3 runs and kneel to end the half, or 2 runs and a kneel. So halftime, it's 15-0. And this is where I'm thinking, like, this defense is fucking killing it with the turnovers. And if the offense can just do like one more thing, like we have this game in hand and things feel pretty good. And Peyton Manning is kind of running for his life.
Their drive chart after those drive charts from or in the playoffs,
because it was the first half half drives. In the other games were touchdown, end of half, right?
Right.
Basically. And in this game, what was it?
Interception, fumble, safety, fumble.
God damn.
So they haven't had a drive that didn't end in a turnover or points for the other team.
Still haven't punted yet, though.
Correct. They have not punted yet.
At least that streak's still alive, baby. Maybe we can get 3 whole games. You can have 3. The rest of the NFL can have 3.
So they literally punt once in this game.
Right. So like what you're saying, I mean, it's like you dominate this first half, dominate, but they were a couple plays away from it being a 1-score game going into halftime, which is scary in itself, especially how the game earlier in the season went when you blew a 21-point lead in 6 minutes.
Yeah. And the Colts are known for this too. Like they were down 2 touchdowns to, was it the Bucks earlier in this season on Monday night?
3 touchdowns, less than 5 minutes. They actually mentioned it in this game.
You're right. Yeah. 3 touchdowns with about 5 minutes left, and they won that game. So being up 15-0 at halftime, it's nice, but it doesn't quite feel like enough. Right. Especially when Indy starts the second half with, first of all, a kick return to midfield on the opening kickoff. Then they converted 4th and 1. And then this drive was like almost all runs as well. There was no real Peyton Manning in this. And there's just like Edgar and James down their throat. And he ends up running it in from like the 3. So now it's 15-70 and thinking, God damn it.
Which is
right,
like,
so you were a couple plays away from it being a 1-point game if they got a touchdown in that half.
Right. Or if Troy Brown doesn't like strip that guy of the ball on the interception, they don't get those 3 points, then you could be down 2 right now.
Yeah. So this game is still very much in the balance. And then Patriots again settle for another field goal, even though they get inside the 15.
From the 9-yard line, kick a field goal.
Yep.
Actually, no, we were on the 4th, took a delay of game, and then kicked it from the 9.
Right, exactly. But then Indianapolis, they're only 3 and out, their only punt of the game. So you're kind of like, okay, we're maybe like that first drive may have been a fluke. That's great. Maybe this defense is ready to hold again. And then New England just starts running the ball. Like Antoine Smith in this game, I think we said it was the last game, or maybe it was like the last game of the season against the Bills, where they ran it all down the throat, and it looked like he was running like it was 2001 again. Same in this game. I don't know if they're just like saving his legs or something.
No, it's the shit fields.
It must be, but he doesn't have a lot of moves.
Line.
But this offensive line played amazing too.
I could have ran for 75 yards in this game for sure.
Yeah, and that's with being tackled by the first guy to touch you.
Yeah,
like the offensive line. They even mentioned it somewhere. It might have actually been right around here on some of these big Antoine Smith runs, where the commentators were talking about how the Patriots offensive linemen were high-fiving after the play because they had blocked it so well.
Yeah, Phil, that was good commentary. Yeah. It was like, it's never good when the offensive line's high-fiving.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was funny, wasn't it, Andy? Did you like it? Did it make you giggle?
No. Fucking hated it.
Yeah, I bet you didn't.
We win 2 runs. We went from our 30-yard line to their 30. Just back-to-back Antoine.
Yeah.
And it was gaping, too. You could have drove.
It was, yeah.
Tractor trailer through those things. So then they kick another field goal, right?
From the 3-yard line. Kick a field goal.
From the 3-yard line, yeah.
As you do.
Just like any of these turn into touchdowns. This game is an absolute blowout.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, Antoine Smith, 22 carries, 100 yards even. Nice day on the ground. I was stat checking myself. Yeah, but so the Patriots, have answered that touchdown with 2 long drives, but 6 points. So now we're up 21-7. And Colts get the ball back again. And Greg, you want to walk us through this drive?
Oh, yeah. And then you're like,
2 plays.
He hasn't thrown his required interception for every quarter of this game yet.
True. That's well played.
And Peyton gets a little happy feet. You could tell he starts like forcing it at times in this game, because like a lot of these picks came when you could tell it was just like a frustration pick too.
And he's on the move. He's like this one especially. He's getting flushed out of the pocket. He's like rolling out to the side.
So he gets sacked the play before. So 2nd and 17. He's got nothing. They're down 21-7. End of the 3rd quarter, and he's just like, wham. Tries to flick one out in the flat when there's a guy directly in his face, overthrows him, and then Ty Law again, just like following the play, not the guy he was covering, fucking scoops in behind and just snags it as he rolls out of bounds. 2nd pick of the game.
I think Peyton was more surprised about this interception than the first one. He thought he had thrown it away safe. Like, even if the guy's not going to catch it, he thought he threw it out of bounds. And there's Ty Law diving and picking off.
Good luck blaming that on somebody, Peyton. Like, oh my.
That one could not have been more Peyton Manning's fault.
48-minute Manning face if you're
So that's
Pat's ball, 26-yard line, up 21-7, end of the 3rd quarter.
Yep.
Game's over.
Right. Yeah, and New England
already in field goal territory.
As that 3rd half ends and the 4th quarter begins, like New England's drive, and they're inside the Indianapolis 5, And this is where Fourier drops yet another one of his, what should have been a touchdown. He hits him in the hands and just goes straight through him. Like, it wasn't an easy catch, but it's an easy catch for an NFL player. It's something he's caught before. Drops it, and then the drive ends with Brady throwing an interception in the end zone, which is his first interception at home all season.
And just a horrendous time to throw it, too.
In fact, yes.
Not having a pick a couple of times in this game, but this one wasn't his fault. It was Dietrich Ward running the slant.
It wasn't his fault, dude. Fuck that. Why did he throw the ball? It's 21-7. You're on the 5-yard line. It's third down. A field goal buries this game. And he tries to stick one into coverage to Dietrich Ward. What are you doing?
You can't let that guy inside you.
I don't give a shit. You don't throw the ball if there's someone within 5 yards of him, Steve.
Yeah, it was not a great throw, but it was also a very, very badly run route. So this is his first.
I mean, it's Dietrich Ward. And like, it's not like blame him. Like, why?
He's a neat player, okay?
He's neat.
He was a neat pickup, so you shut your goddamn mouth.
Neat pickup.
If he ever writes an autobiography, on the back of it will be great. Neat player, Greg Brown. Is the quote on the back of the.
It wasn't me. It was Tom. Yeah. Via Greg Brown, via Phil Simms, via Tom Brady.
We'll just have you all quoting each other.
What a neat pickup that guy has been for us.
He's neat.
So
apparently not that neat. Not neat anymore.
Not neat enough.
But this is Tom Brady's first interception at home since 2002 versus Miami. That's a long fucking time ago. That's like the December before. Long ass time ago. It was his first interception at home in the last 330 passes, and his first interception in the playoffs in the last 165 passes.
You knew he was going to throw one, though, when they put up a stat earlier in the game and they said, oh, he's hit 300 passes without throwing an INT at home. Like, well,
yeah, it's like saying they didn't punt the whole game.
Yeah, they haven't punted for 2 games. Yep, or Adam Vinatieri hasn't missed all season.
Yeah, or Peyton Manning's QB rating is 158.3.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, had a chance to step on the Colts' necks and just didn't.
Bad turnover there. Really bad turnover.
Yeah, and then on the next play, so the Colts get the ball at the 20. The next play, the referees missed the delay of game by like 2 or 3 seconds.
It was bad.
How did I know you're going to bitch about that? I watched that and I was going to be like, well, let me predict your next statement. You're going to bitch at Phil Simms for being like, oh, yeah, if there's a 1 second difference, the refs aren't going to call it, right?
No.
You fucking prove it. You have that written down in your notes.
Yeah, you definitely have. Like, let's go to the anti-commentator section.
Yeah.
I already goes somewhere.
I will show you the commentator section.
The only thing that makes Andy more mad than a missed call is when the commentator agrees with the missed call.
Shit on top of shit.
Commentator section. Yeah. Empty.
Oh, come
empty.
I have something for the
You just deleted that. I don't believe that for a second.
Control Z. Oh, yeah, I fixed a typo. That was the last thing I've touched.
I have something for the commentator section while we're on it.
Ooh.
Well, hang on. Just to go back to Greg's point, what I was going to say is everybody bitching about how the Patriots and Tom Brady always get all the calls.
Come on, Andy. There's a delay a game on their own 20. That's like no relevance to this.
But no,
game
instead they get a like 11-yard gain off of it, first down, moving the ball already.
Yeah, fucked.
The other 2 drives that they started without it, they didn't score. So
how did this drive end up?
They didn't score.
What do you mean?
Karma. That's why, Steve.
Oh.
Karma for cheating. You'd never catch the Patriots cheating. So Peyton Manning, the cheater that he is, will pay the price for this.
Well, backing up a step, did you see Ty Law and Harrison getting a little feisty on the sidelines when Brady threw that pick?
No.
Yeah, they showed it to even before. I think it was actually the drop by Fourier. Those two were on the sidelines, like huffing and puffing, being like, "What the fuck?"
Okay, yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
I missed that.
I thought that was like pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was almost like the defense.
It was like
It felt like they realized that this game was on them to win.
Yeah.
After that, like end of that series, the end of that drive,
And they had already made enough plays to win the game.
Just in the first half alone, yeah,
right. Like any points there, you're
and it's over.
Seriously,
you
in the driver's seat.
You can start cruising. Yep.
We just gave
Three
you
score game.
Gave you the ball at the 31-yard line, and then you turn that into
0 points.
End zone, like a net 11 yards. Like what the fuck?
Right.
Guy?
Exactly. What were you going to say about the commentators, Steve?
Well, I'll save that for my best.
Okay.
All right. This drive might be my favorite defensive drive in Patriots history.
Yeah. So you've been teasing a Eugene Wilson game.
I told you guys.
This is your Eugene Wilson.
Is this the one?
I told you ages ago.
So
and the best part is I didn't know it was coming.
Wait. So you're telling me that the reason you bought a Eugene Wilson jersey is from the Ty Law game? Was the Ty Law game?
Yes.
Drives.
Well, I already had the 04 Ty Law Pro Bowl jersey, so
which you are currently wearing for our listeners
Yes.
who can't see you. Yes.
Yeah.
That jersey is so sweet. I love that
It's
jersey.
pretty dope.
But the interest, I've been looking for these plays for multiple years, maybe a decade, and they don't exist on YouTube except for embedded in this 2-hour.
They will
just
be on
can't
the website.
find. There's no Eugene Wilson highlight package because no one even knows who Eugene Wilson is.
We will make that package. We are going to be.
But I distinctly remember like 2 huge hits in the snow against Indy. But I had convinced myself by this point, I was like, that must have been next year's AFC conference game.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I confused those two because I thought there was a Teddy Bruschi play in this game, and it wasn't. It's in the next one.
Right.
But yes.
Brandon Stokely coming over the middle. And I audibly gasped.
I did too.
Happened. It was like he catches it. He's the most defenseless receiver you've ever seen.
Almost.
Like as soon as he turns his head, Brandon Stokely too. He looks like a fucking
Wes Welker.
He looks like one of a
public accountant.
He looks like a podcaster is what he looks like.
And he just gets absolutely demolished.
This is like a
by
Phillies out of your
Eugene
teeth hitting. This is
This is one of the, but it was like shoulder directly to the middle of your chest.
Yeah, no flag.
No, this is perfect.
Especially back then. I mean, I think that now it would have been a flag just from the defensive receiver perspective.
Of
But
course.
back then you're
Immediate flag in today's NFL.
Yeah. That one,
when a head snaps like that, because you got that whiplash head effect, right?
Oh,
where
yeah.
he hit him with the shoulder directly in the chest, but Stokely's head goes.
Peyton comes out to dry. It was all Peyton. He was the one who threw that ball. He let him right into the safety.
Yeah.
which you've been kind of doing.
Yeah, he's forcing
all day. Yeah.
Then he's forcing. He's down. He's like flustered. He's
confused.
He's confused. He's making late reads and he's fucking forcing balls and
Yep.
kind of almost took Stokely's head off.
Yeah. So he's
And
separate.
then no less than 2 plays later,
What happens?
he's got Marvin Harrison going down the sidelines and he does one of those like try and drop it in the bucket throws.
Yep.
Or it was Reggie Wayne.
Ooh,
And,
yeah.
and Reggie Wayne does that little like, I'm going to catch it, sees out of the corner of his eye what's going on and like T-Rex
Short
arms it.
Yeah.
And then Eugene Wilson just comes in and absolutely topples him. Just buckles him, dude.
That one
Might have been harder than the first one. And
It was.
It's like,
and it was
two
midair.
massive hits within 3 plays. And it was just like, holy shit.
So for like, if we have like new listeners who haven't seen this game, like maybe they became Patriots fans afterwards or something, just think of any launching penalty you've seen in the NFL on defense. It was that minus the flag, to the point where the
Yes.
commentators are even like arguing about whether it should be a flag.
Those it was clean because he didn't use his head. He used his shoulder. He got him kind of like right on the collarbone area.
Yeah.
So like the hit location was clean, but he was defenseless. Like he just
Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, because like Sims was arguing, he's like, "Oh no, that was definitely clean. Like he didn't use his head. He used his shoulder. His head's like way out of the way." And then what's his name? The other guy's like, "Yeah, but I think they were talking about that it was the receiver was defenseless." And he goes, "Oh."
I think you could only.
And then they move on to the next play.
I think you could hit one. You couldn't hit him in the head though. If you hit a defenseless receiver in the head,
it was a shoulder directly in the face mask.
Yeah, it was dead right around.
And he launched into it. It was just like. But I mean, to Reggie Wayne's credit, he popped right back up. But Jesus, I don't think I would have. I would have just been like, just dig me a grave here. I'm not moving. It was.
Stokely comes back too because Stokely immediately was like, "Get me out."
Yeah, Stokely needed a break.
Like sometimes when you see those ones now, though, like the helmet-to-helmet ones, it's like not cool. These were cool.
Yeah,
I'll say it.
These weren't
head injuries. These it might not be cool to say this, but it was cool to watch.
This would be called targeting in college football these days. He would have been able to make the second one because he would have been ejected.
Well, like in his defense, he's playing within the rules of the time.
True.
Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He was coached that way, and that's the way the game was.
And you're playing the Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Peyton Manning, Colts,
right?
And that's like part of your game plan is be physical.
Right.
Yep. Is to make them pay for anything, which is what you did ever since like the 2001 Super Bowl, where you did it with
they've been doing it all game
too.
Like, they have been very physical all game.
Very physical. Yeah. And the Colts receivers have been getting very frustrated.
They're very decapitated.
Yeah.
And very oatmeal brained. Just watch it again. It's awesome. See you later.
But it's literally one of those plays that make you go, oh,
yeah.
Like when you're watching in real time, like, I didn't see him coming because he comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, I did. I audibly gasped.
Yeah, I did on both of them.
I was like,
the alarm would say, "Lordy,
goodness
grief," as Dad would say.
Goodness grief.
So after Eugene's finished decleating wide receivers, Manning gets sacked on third, which pushes them out of field goal range. And so now it's 4th and a country mile. And there's no country strong boys co-MVPs in this game. So Peyton Manning on 4th down. Greg, do you want to walk us through this?
Yeah, I think this is this might be my favorite of the 3 Tyler interceptions.
I was going to ask you.
I mean, it's 4th down, and he's kind of like trying to stick one in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he's going to the corner, right? It's like a inseam to out corner for Harrison.
Yeah.
And Tyler Law's got his back to Manning. And then the throw's coming like right by his shoulder, and he like whips his head around and just like immediately reacts to the ball. I think it was that's like his true ball skills come into play there. Good and call. He just snags it, turns around, starts doing his typical Ty Law thing where he runs around for like 30 seconds and gets
falling
like
over himself without getting touched. Yeah.
Did you see on the replay where it looked like he was passing off Marvin? He was like pointing to the safety.
Yeah,
like,
to the safety.
Oh, yeah.
Turns his head around, sees the ball's coming. I was like, well, fuck that. There he goes and gets it. Yeah.
Yeah, because he knew that the ball was coming that way, but he thought it was going to be up and over him.
Yeah, so he completes his hat trick. 3rd of the night, 4th for Manning overall. All Manning 3 pretty nice interceptions. And the best part is Marvin Harrison has 3 receptions, 19 yards, and a fumble in this game. The guy who had 94 catches for 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns in the season has 3 catches, as many as Ty Law.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tyler
so
probably had more yards than that too.
Marvin Harrison, 3 catches, 19 yards. Ty Law, 3 catches, 26 yards.
There you go. That's awesome.
Troy Walters, who we'll touch on in a minute, 3 catches, 30 yards. Probably should have had 31 if you wanted this game to continue, but we'll get
Ty Law, better offensive player than Marvin Harrison, notably.
Yeah, I would agree. He's a more favorite Peyton Manning target.
Same catches, more yards, no fumbles. It's pretty clear.
Yeah, I would say so.
And I mean, so this comes right off the heels of that Brady bad interception, where the Colts start storming down, and then you get Eugene Wilson, huge hit. Mm-hmm. Eugene Wilson, huge hit. Ty Law pick.
Yeah,
and it's just like that is just as a kid who was like, those are my two favorite players on this team was Eugene Wilson and Ty Law.
That drive.
Like, that is heaven.
That drive is your wet dream.
Heaven.
Mom, I need a Eugene Wilson jersey too.
Exactly.
I already got the Pro Bowl one, Greg.
Yeah. Well, Santa.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, what do you mean Santa can't get me a Eugene Wilson jersey? Santa's magic. Why doesn't he just fucking make one in his workshop, Mom?
Yeah. Get one of the goddamn elves to do
sense.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. And so, the Patriots don't do much kind of on offense the rest of this game. They go 3 and out after this. But at this point, they're almost like starting to try run clock. So there's like running the ball, whatever they can, with whoever they have left. Antoine Smith, Kevin Falk, doesn't matter. The Colts managed to put together a touchdown drive. They're in desperation mode at this point. They're down 21, still down 21-7.
Yeah, it's like not desperation. Yeah.
6
Well,
minutes
no, because there's like 5 minutes left and Peyton's getting battered. And they're running the hurry up, like no huddle, just like, and Manning's not like doing all his like movement and stuff. He's like getting the line, snapping the ball as quickly as he can, and just like going for it. So they eventually managed to score a late touchdown, Manning to Pollard. Wasn't easy and took a lot more time than I think they wanted it to. Because this, to Steve's point, was where they started talking about how, oh, remember that game when they were down 3 touchdowns with 5 minutes left and they still came back and won it? And so they're trying to do that here and they just can't.
It was shaky. It was touch and go.
Yeah. So at this point, but now it's 21-14.
Yes. Yeah. With 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah. But Fourier kind of redeems himself a little bit, I would say, by recovering the onside kick. Caught it clean. And this onside kick, it felt very like typical Vanderjagt. Where he's like, oh, I'm so much smarter than these guys. Watch this. I'm gonna trick them. So they all like huddled. And you could tell the Patriots knew it was coming because instead of doing like, when you usually see an onside kick where like everybody spreads out within like 5 yards, but all the way across the field, they were all huddled like inside the hash marks, like everybody except for 2 deep guys. I think it was Troy Brown and Kevin Falk or someone deep. And then everybody else was just like kind of milling around right in the middle of the field. And what the Colts decided to do was Vanderjagt just like broke out of the huddle and just kicked it right at the Patriots, and it kicked it right at Fourier, who just caught it and fell to the ground. Like no bounce, no nothing, just kicked it right at him, and the Patriots recovered the onside kick. It's trying to outsmart themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta try shit like that onside kick.
Yeah, that shit only works on the Browns though.
Yeah, but like you could tell that they knew it was coming, so just be like, all right, you know what? Fuck this. Let's just do the regular onside kick. Like, I'm sure they practice that too. But
I'm with Greg. You gotta try that shit.
Have you seen the guy, the fat, like Spanish looking guy that is he's like all these viral videos of him doing his special onside kick?
No.
And he keeps being like, yo, hire me, NFL. He's this guy that has figured out a way to like, he kicks it directly at the ground right in front of him. And it takes like a huge hop.
Yeah.
And enough that he can just keep running forward and like catch the ball 10 yards downfield. So he's got all these videos of him like, he'll kick it, he'll run, he'll open a car door and the ball go into the car door and then he'll close it. And it'd be like, yo, Eagles, sign me. These are all these videos. They're actually like, they got me thinking.
All right.
Maybe we should sign this guy.
Got this guy for sure.
He's not an athlete.
I love kicker like awesome. Trick shot videos. They're the best.
Yeah. And if you're talking about an onside kick, it's like the same skill every time, right? If you can figure out like one that works, that's pretty valuable.
Yeah. Although I have to imagine you could probably get somebody like a Gostowski or a Vinatieri to be like, all right, see what this guy's doing on a video? How long it'll take you to learn that? A week?
Which makes me wonder why they haven't done that.
Maybe they've tried it doesn't work as well as it looks. I don't know.
I don't know. He's pretty sick.
This guy's hit a half-court basketball shot with an onside kick here.
Damn. All right, you'll have to send me the video. We'll put it in the show notes.
Let's get this guy on the fucking.
Get him on the pod.
He looks like a real great interview too.
He does, right?
Oh,
Looks
I
like
bet.
it'd be fun. Well, Colts fucked up. Didn't hire him. He was actually probably like a little kid at this point too.
Yeah. So the Patriots get the ball. And New England again just starts running it down the Colts' throats, trying to waste as much time as possible. Actually,
No, they don't. They throw it. Remember?
oh yeah, okay. On this drive, yeah, because
Suspect.
a little bit suspect.
You got 2.5 minutes left. So you got it on their 44.
Yeah.
But the Colts have 3 timeouts.
Right. So you run it first down, throw it second down, which gets batted down, third down. Great throw to Troy Brown down the seam, who's lined up against the linebacker, but the linebacker makes an incredible play and just knocks it out of his hands.
Oh, it was a drop.
Troy did have it. Now I think that defender made a great play.
He did
Bring it up.
A great play for the situation he's in, but Troy had him beat, and he should have had that.
Yeah, not a great throw.
Not a great throw?
Yeah,
Is that
it
what
was
you said?
on Brady. It definitely wasn't Troy Brown's fault.
Andy, if you want anybody to believe you need to be there, dude. That play was on Troy. Even Troy Brown himself would say that was his fault.
No,
of course he would say that about everything, even if it wasn't.
Exactly. I'm sure he would, but this one wasn't.
Deep down inside, Troy knows that's his fault.
No, this one wasn't. I disagree.
Andy,
And you know what? I will not take Troy Brown slander on this podcast from either of you, especially on a play like that.
I am just. These are the facts.
They're facts,
libel.
Andy.
It's libel.
They're facts.
Write it
They're
down. It'll be
facts.
libel. This is slander.
Andy, you realize that you're like the people that show up at the fucking Capitol trying to break in and storm the Senate, right? You're like, what? Doesn't matter what the truth is. I believe what my brain wants me to believe, and that's the end of the matter.
You're absolutely wrong.
Same thing with anti-masks, Andy. I'm just
actually watching the game.
You refuse to hear everything like pro-mask. You're like, nope, that's just fake.
No.
These are the facts that I have created in my head.
See, now I would agree with you on this point if the garbage that was being spewed wasn't coming from the two of you who have iffy track records in general. Like if this was coming from, if Bill Belichick came out and said, you know what, that was on Troy, I'd be like, yeah, all right, fine. If Troy came out and said, you know what, that was on me, I'd be like, you know what, Troy, I believe you. But the two of you were garbage. Steve Brown started this podcast being like, oh no, these commentators are great. And now look at you. Yeah, okay. And Greg Brown.
I say they're good when they're good and they're bad.
The first game you've watched in a season and a half. So now all of a sudden you're an expert on each individual play.
Why are you so defensive? Is like challenges to your worldview upsetting to you?
No.
In your safe space, you snowflake?
This is what I'm saying. This is not a challenge
Snowflake.
to anything because it's coming from you two.
You soy boy. You fucking cuck baby.
You libtard.
Libtard. Oh, beep that. Is that
naughty.
okay?
Very naughty. Sometimes
we
a
allowed
naughty boy.
That is being naughty.
Yeah,
Are we allowed to say half of words like that?
I don't think so.
What about this? Is this okay?
No.
No.
Very naughty.
Very naughty indeed.
Mom, what do you think?
Just know
Sometimes
that
a naughty boy.
that was hilarious in a visual medium, what I just did.
Yeah.
But it will never see the light of day.
It better not.
So after, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
Yeah, so the Patriots get the ball after the
we were talking about Troy Brown dropping that 10 conversion.
Butterfingers Brown over there, blowing the game for the Patriots.
Patriots go 3 and out and punt for the second time in the game. This
What is Ty Law got to intercept another one for him, Andy? Is that what's going to happen?
Does he? No, he doesn't.
No.
So
that would have been sweet.
Yeah, the Colts at this point have the ball back at their own 20 with 2 minutes left, like exactly 2 minutes left. They go the elusive 4 and out.
Yeah.
I believe they don't get any yards.
0 yards, 4 incompletions.
So the Patriots
He's complaining the whole time about Marcus Pollard being held because he goes in twice on 3rd and 4th.
And it was.
But
if they got a call, that would have been a soft call because it was contact, but it was 50-50. I'm sure Greg disagrees, but I don't give a fuck.
They've been letting it go all game.
Yeah. And then, so the Patriots start at the 20, run it 3 times. The third time is a Tom Brady naked bootleg. Gets sniffed out. Tom Brady tries to juke the one defender that's out there with him, falls over and almost fumbles the ball away. But so luckily his knee is down.
I had a huge problem with the slant in the end zone. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
The naked boot inside the 20 when all you need to do is kick a fucking field goal to win this game with Tom fucking Brady. What are you doing? Why?
I'm all right with the call. My problem with it is that Tom Brady doesn't go down like a sack of potatoes as soon as that defender goes out.
He does though. He's saved from the fumble because he goes down like a sack of potatoes.
Well, no, I mean like without he should have just like fallen down, slid, taken the loss, and that's it. Sure. But instead he tries to beat the guy.
Shouldn't have been in a position.
Gets taken down, and then the ball gets ripped out. But luckily his knee was down already because he's such a bad runner.
He was saved by that. That would have been if Peyton gets that ball, he's taking that to the house.
Right, because it's still a 7-point game.
5 seconds left on his 15-yard line. Doesn't matter if he has timeouts or not. He's gonna take that and score a touchdown and tie this game up.
Yeah. So instead, the Patriots are able to kick a field goal. So now they're up 10, and
from the 6-yard line.
Right, this game's over. Game's over. But it ends, I think, in a perfect way because the Colts are driving, trying to, I don't know, put garbage time score up or something. You're not going to give up because it's the playoffs and you're still like
you never
close-ish. Right. You never know. But on 4th down, Manning completes it's like 4th and 10, and Manning completes a pass to Troy Walters for it was like a 5-yard completion. Troy Walters has enough room to go get the first down, but instead steps out of bounds a yard short of the line to gain. And so he gains 9 yards on 4th and 10, and it's turnover and downs.
Game over.
Like the perfect way to end this game, yeah.
It's bonehead.
But when everybody in the stadium thought the game was over, including the people who were like wheeling on the stage to present the AFC Championship trophy, and the Patriots still had to run one more play to kneel it to actually officially end it because there was like 3 seconds left. So everybody ran on the field and they had to like move everybody off. And you could tell Belichick was like pissed because he's the only one that recognized what was going on. He's like dragging people off the field and stuff. But a great way to end the this season, the going undefeated at home. They went 10-0 at home, these New England Patriots, which is a pretty impressive stat. What else? Adam Vinatieri tied the playoff record for 5 field goals in a playoff game.
Ty Law had 3 interceptions.
Ty Law, tied for second in the NFL with 3 interceptions in a playoff game. Somebody else had 4, who's somebody I didn't recognize.
David Gibbons continues his NFL streak of playoff games with a touchdown.
Does he?
Yeah,
okay.
Remember, doesn't he have like a super long streak of playoff games with TDs? Like 7
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, look this up.
Christian Fourier continues his the Patriots streak of dropped passes by New England tight ends.
Okay. Is that your worst, Andy? Are we doing best and worst here?
I guess so. No, that can't be my worst because I always start off on the positive note. Remember,
in this house has a dropped QBR rating of over 100 points.
Yeah, well, what did he finish with, Greg?
23 of 47, 237 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 picks, 4 sacks, rating of 35.5.
35.5.
He was bad. He was really bad. Yep. Harrison, 3 catches, 19 yards.
No one really on the receiving core did good. I think they should have.
Pollard did all right, but
Edgerrin James was like they like had that one drive where he was running really well. I think right at the beginning of the second half, and then they just didn't give him the ball again. Yeah, one of those sloppy, like grinded out kind of games in the playoffs. Like Edgerrin James was really good, and he's definitely getting some space there.
All right.
Peyton Manning too smart for his own good though. Wanted to force the ball, fucking hang his receivers out to dry, throw a bunch of picks.
Absolutely. All right, do you want to do best and worst?
Well, can we talk about Ty Law?
Oh, you want to talk about Ty? Yeah, give it to me.
This is the Ty Law honorary episode here. You know,
this is true.
We've never really gone too far into depth about Ty Law.
We haven't.
So I said, let's give him a little historical context.
How many pages do we have here before we go in? Because it sounded like stacking a stack.
Oh, no.
On a cold, snowy day in December 1985. No. He's from Aliquippa, Pennsylvania. You know who else went to his high school?
That sounds familiar.
Oh, I used to know this funny stat.
Multiple people.
Randy Moss, one of them?
No.
Give me
Mike Ditka, Tony Dorsett, and Darrell Revis.
Darrell Revis, yes.
And Press Maravich, Pete Maravich.
Oh, yeah.
Dad. So I grew up in Pennsylvania, went to Michigan, was an All-American at Michigan, 23rd overall pick by the Patriots in 1995. He played, he's part of that original throwback team, all the Bledsoe teams. He went to the Super Bowl against the Packers.
Yep.
5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. He had 53 career interceptions, 7 touchdowns. He's in the Patriots Hall of Fame and the Pro Football Hall of Fame as of a couple of years ago.
Is he in the Jets Hall of Fame?
No.
Nope. We should induct Revis into ours, though.
Yeah. So I got a list of quarterbacks that Ty Law intercepted.
Okay.
Because he kind of spanned multiple generations. So there's some sick names on here.
So can we guess how many are on that, Steve? You and me?
Oh, I only have the notables.
Oh, all right. Never mind. All right. Give me the notable names then. Never mind.
All right. First career interception was Jim Kelly.
Damn. Good way to start your career.
Dan Marino.
Of course.
Steve Young. Troy Aikman. Boomer Esiason. Steve McNair. Phil Rivers. Peyton, obviously.
No kidding.
Yep.
And of course, Tom Brady and Drew Bledsoe.
Yes. Oh, beautiful.
Peyton. He loved picking off Peyton.
Oh, God, yeah. How many did he have?
He had a career total of 9 interceptions of Peyton Manning.
He really was his favorite receiver.
Yeah, 5 of which were in the playoffs.
Oh, my God. And how many were returned for touchdowns? At least one. I can't remember. He may have had 2 off of Peyton for touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't know. So he actually had 2 when he was on the Chiefs in 2006, if you remember that.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was a wild card game. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was getting old. He picked him off twice in the playoffs again.
Oh, yeah.
They got 25. Peyton has 25 career postseason interceptions. 5 of them are from Ty Law.
How many of them are from Patriots, I wonder, just in general? Because obviously you got another one with Rodney Harrison.
Well, Greg just said some of those were when he was with the Chiefs against Peyton.
Oh, that's true, too. Yeah.
Yep.
Still. Great.
He picked off both the co-MVPs this year, right? Because he got McNair in the regular season. So he had 4 picks against the 2 MVPs in one season.
It's not bad.
When Belichick was asked about him, he said, "Yeah, a guy that has a rule named after him is probably pretty good." The Ty Law rule, which is kind of like a result of this game.
This specific game, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Bill Polian thought that Ty Law was getting a little too handsy with his babies, and decided to institute a rule that you couldn't do that anymore because of
the post 5 yards contact thing, right?
Just not allowed anymore.
Yep.
That's an awesome quote from Belichick.
Yeah.
It really is.
And also about how he's just like a cool dude. Like I watched a bunch of interviews of him and he's just like, I don't know, he's funny. He's like cocky, but not.
He's not a dick about it.
Diva cocky, you know?
Yeah. He's not wide receiver cocky.
Yeah. He sold Brady his first home before Brady was the starter.
Yep.
because they were both Michigan boys.
Right.
So when Brady moved here, he sold him a home, and he was like, "Yeah, I probably took like $100,000 bath on it because I gave it to him furnished." But he's like, "Hey, he's a Michigan boy. What are you gonna do?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, he told a good story too about after the Snow Bowl last year against the Raiders. He's good buddies with Charles Woodson.
Oh, right.
And him and Charles used to like meet up after every game they play each other. And he said he went looking for him by the bus when after that game, and Woodson wasn't there. He's like already on the bus. So Tyler went and into the Raiders bus after the snowball. I was like, "Yo, Woodson, what's up, buddy?" And he was like, "Nah, I ain't about that shit tonight."
Not tonight.
And he was like, "Yeah, it's because you got your ass whooped." And he's like, "And then I ran my ass off that bus as fast as I could."
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, I think Brian Morey, who we had on the podcast a while ago, the guy from the Patriots Hall of Fame,
Right.
he does his Pats from the Past podcast, and I think they had Ty Law on there as well.
I believe they have.
And it was a really good interview. I think I actually told that story on it.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, he's just a legend. Just a cool guy. Played with so much swag. Like that's what like jumps out at me is like just oozes confidence while he's playing, and that's why I think he was like my favorite player. Is like
at every part of the game too. Like he wasn't afraid. He could tackle with the best of them. He can cover with the best of them. His instincts never seem to fail him. Like he never seems to make a wrong decision.
And he's just the way he plays too. You know,
Crying, Greg?
The biggest moments. Like this game is a huge game. Huge game against the best quarterback. He has 3 picks. The Super Bowl, he has a pick 6. Like, every time you need Ty Law to make a play, he made a play.
There he is.
And like a big play too. Like,
yeah, it's like the Tom Brady gene, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady's that same thing. Is when you need a play, you can trust Brady.
Mm-hmm.
He always like exceeds your expectations rather than like letting you down in a big moment. Yeah, and Ty Law was always like that for me too.
I agree. All right, to Ty Law.
Nickname T. Leasy.
I hope not.
I saw this like Zoom thing, and like has your name on there, like before you log on. It just said T. Leasy.
Ty Law's Zoom thing.
Yeah.
T. Leasy. What T. Lees?
T. Leasy.
Boy. All right. Let's do best and worst. We've been going for quite a while here. Steve, you want to go first?
Yeah, should I go negative
do what you want.
In this house?
You do what you want. It's your house.
Give me my commentator one that I said earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been on this crusade about Phil Simms sexually harassing Armin Katayan.
Yes.
He does it again in this game. I don't know if you caught it.
I didn't. I missed it.
Is there a kickoff?
Yeah, he said, I think those coaches got Armin a little fired up. And like in a vacuum, doesn't sound that creepy, but he says it like after the kickoff's already happening and he like interjects it right at the end and just all like the feet things he's been talking about. He's like, what do you mean fired up?
Dude, I noticed one too.
Oh, you heard another one about it?
Well, I think it was that one. I can't remember the exact wording, but I remember thinking like the way he said it like was so suggestive.
Yes.
And then Armin like didn't respond to it. It was like, oh God, this is weird.
And then they kick the ball off. And then you're just like sitting there thinking about, did he just like make
just
a weird
like
sexual
stewing in it? Yeah, it's like felt like sexual tension.
Yeah.
Something going on. It's nice.
And then my best was I don't know which of the coaches it was that you saw on the sideline, but one of the current coaches, the Steve or Brian, gave like Belichick a hug right afterwards. He like picks him up. And they're all celebrating on the sideline. He's like, I don't know, he must be like 13 maybe in this game.
Yep, probably.
He's young, maybe even younger.
Yeah, probably your guys' age at that time.
There's our future coach.
That's right. Yeah, now he's coaching the
sidelines of the game. You watched it.
He's the defensive play caller. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic.
It's really cool.
All right, Greg, do you even want to do best and worst? I feel like
I just
your
got
best
three bests.
I want to know what they
My
are.
third best was Tyler's second interception, the one, the overthrow that he scooped.
Yeah.
My second best was his first interception, the one-handed one where he's coming back towards his own end zone. And my best was his third interception, that spin around, boop, right in his thing.
All right.
Game sealer.
And was your worst not knowing how to find the Eugene Wilson hits?
It doesn't exist.
today?
It doesn't exist.
It does on the website
multiple times.
It will on the website.
Yeah, but up to that point, it didn't.
It's true. Well, that's why we're here. We're providing a service.
Exactly. We are doing the whole world a favor here.
All right.
That was my background for ages. That's why I knew that play existed. It was the second hit where he's crushing Wayne. That was my background on my computer for like a long ass time.
That's a great
picture. First computers too, because
that's a great
picture. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, my best was Charlie Weiss's halftime show because Armageddon was given permission to sit in on the halftime,
which is
the Patriots halftime locker room.
Which is what made the other comment later creepy too. I was like
a little bit.
Yeah.
But apparently Charlie Weiss at halftime said, we have to give them no reason for hope on offense, which didn't work on offense, but on defense, it absolutely did. I just thought that felt, and it kind of like went back to all the things we were saying. Like they need to just like step on their neck, and Charlie Weiss recognized it, but we have to give them no reason for hope. It's such a great coach quote.
They were the defensive players are so hot and bothered on the sideline because he said that in the locker room they had the chance and they throw the interception. Right? You get you pick inside the red zone and you turn that into an interception in the red end zone.
Yeah,
like you can't give him any hope. They're giving him hope now.
Yeah.
And even like Tom Brady's attempting to fumble it on the naked bootleg would have given him hope. Right?
Yeah,
it did for a second until the play got overturned. Yeah.
This game legit should have been a blowout.
Yeah, I agree. And my worst was Dwight Freeney.
I wrote that down.
You heard his name when they were announcing the rosters, and not again.
Yeah.
Compared to like in the last game when they played on the turf.
Honestly, it's got to be the turf.
And he was just running past people on the turf. And they were talking about how even before the game, Dwight Freeney was already frustrated because I think he knew what kind of game it was going to be because, like you said, it's going to be on the sloppy field. Brady gets rid of the ball really quickly. So he's like, I don't have a chance. Like you can't get to a quarterback like that.
And we're going to run the ball at you and make you play run too in the slot.
Which is exactly what he doesn't want to do. And then lastly, I'm going to put this in the show notes, but I don't know if either of you caught this, but the commentators actually made a comment about it because when they cut to like the fans, it was like coming back from commercial or something like that, and they showed this one dude, and they're making a comment about like, oh, you should wear that, but this is the picture, guys. I don't know if you caught this.
Yeah, I saw it.
But it's like it's supposed to look like like a bear skin or something on your head. But it looks literally like this guy has like skinned his own dog and is wearing that. Like the look on this face of this animal that he's wearing.
Or it looks like his dog is just like, he's like holding his dog like a backpack.
It could actually be his dog.
Yeah, he's like, all right, dog, it's time to keep me warm. Get on my back and put your head on top of my head.
But that whole face and everything with the ears and all of it, it's just, it's just perfect, like New England person for this game with the shitty weather. And it's like, you know what? I think the weather's gonna suck, so I'm gonna wear the dog out. His wife's like, you can't wear that on public. You might even get on TV. And then like this dude's on TV and the commentators actually talking about what he's wearing. It's like, oh, you poor bastard. Love it.
Did you spot the Clouds Corner banner in the end zone?
I saw that. I was like, what the hell, dude?
Let's get Cloud.
Baby, my Clouds. Like, yeah, I love the banner to him, but come on, let's get a little more creative with that with that name,
Cloud9.
Something, yeah.
Anything other than Cloud's Corner.
Let's get Cloud as would have been mine, obviously.
Yeah, we know. All right.
Hey, you get off of my cloud.
Ooh, girl.
That was a Chris Berman.
It was.
He's a BC guy, though, right? That's why they probably liked him, because he didn't do anything this year.
No,
he had 2 games where he ran for a couple touchdowns each game, and that was
fine. I thought he looked really good.
Yeah.
I was always getting cloudy.
But that's it for the 2003 AFC Championship game against the Indianapolis Colts, or what's left of them after this beatdown. So next week, the Patriots will return to the Super Bowl for the second time under Bill Belichick in 3 years. The makings of a dynasty, according to Phil Simms. So we will see what happens then.
Where are we going? Where are we traveling?
Next week, the Browns are taking this podcast to the Super Bowl.
Steve.
See what I did there?
I did. We are heading to Reliance Stadium, Gregory.
Houston.
Houston.
Ugh. Houston sucks.
Right. The last time we were in Houston, the Patriots were getting a little bit manhandled by the upstart Texans, who were not good this season.
Speaking of getting manhandled in Houston, how about that Deshaun Watson stuff going around?
Sometimes a naughty boy. Very naughty.
All right. So we've muted Greg.
Very naughty. Very naughty. Very naughty.
No, I've literally muted you. We can't hear what you're saying, Greg.
This is nice.
It's kind of.
I was saying, you got to have your fucking mute finger quick on me.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it. All right. Well, on that note, I have some editing to do. And while I do that, we will see you later.
See you later.
See you later.